out here in Greensboro, Vermont at the Cellars at Jasper Hill. They're doing some of the coolest stuff in American cheese, and they've invited us to help them wash one of their cheeses, Willoughby, in our Matilda. I'm so excited to be here. Let's check it out.
Jasper Hill's in what they call the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. If you close your eyes and you imagine like lush green rolling hill farmland, that's exactly what it's like.
We're really committed to raw milk cheese making. In fact, behind every great raw milk cheese, there's an agricultural production system.
Right.
Cheeses, historically, have been linked to a geography. That's really what we're trying to build here.
When I first ran into Matteo Kaler, we kind of shared our stories to each other, and how I said, listen, I love European beers, but we can make those styles here. We can make those same styles. And he was saying, you know, I love the French cheeses, and we can make those here too. And nobody's doing that right now. So we want to do that. We want to make the best cheese in the world, not just the best cheese in Vermont or the country. We want to make the best cheese in the world right here at our farm in Vermont. And that's exactly how we felt about beer.
Farmstead Production is when the animals live and graze on the land where cheese is made. It's a sign of quality.
We're cheesemakers who are farming, not farmers who are making cheese. We're milking cows in order to procure a milk supply that will enable us to do what we're doing. You can't buy this kind of milk.
How important is this grass?
We think a lot about how to make sure the pasture is set up for good milk and how to rotate the cows around to make the most of it. It would be easier to keep the cows inside and feed them a more predictable diet, but it's more interesting to us to have them distill our local landscape and create cheeses that have more regional identity.
You're evenly dispersing and fully dispersing that rennet. And if you were to pour it in and not have this milk stirring, it would coagulate in that one spot, in the one zone.
It looks so pretty. Do you ever just want to swim in it? Not really. That's not food safe.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
In the vats. I think about it in the vats. The first cut created a sheet. That second one, turn them into ribbons, and then this, we'll slice those ribbons into cube. Just like that. It's going to start to expel whey at this point. It'll harden up, it'll kind of shrink up and contract, and it'll develop a bit of a skin, and it'll get some resilience so that we'll be able to handle it and be able to mold it.
Once the cheese is formed in the creamery, it heads over to the cellars. There are 7 underground cellars at Jasper Hill, each with a different purpose. Our cheese is headed to Vault 6 to get washed and aged.
The history of Washed-Rind Cheese goes right back to like the monastery, which we have here in the bottle, right?
Really from the earliest days of Goose Island, of course I was interested in beer, but in beer with cheese as well. I would really relish going down to the abbeys, going to Chimay and Orval in particular. And I saw that Chimay had 3 cheeses. They had their base Chimay Trappist cheese, they had their Vue Chimay, and then my favorite, the fromage à la bière, which was the Chimay that was washed in Chimay beer. And it just had this kind of extra note of funk to it. It was very appealing to me. I knew they'd been doing it, you know, for ages at the monasteries. You know, and again, it's like you don't have to wear a brown robe to do that. Just nobody else was doing it at the time.
Washed-rind cheeses are literally washed in a brine to encourage a special bacteria which gives an orange color to the exterior. These cheeses are usually a little bit funky. In this case, Willoughby is getting a bath in our beer, Matilda.
In the case of washing Willoughby with Matilda, it's not that you can taste the beer on the cheese. That's not how it works. It tends to be more pungent.
And Willoughby takes very well to the beer washes. You can pick up a certain aroma while you're eating the cheese. It doesn't totally change the profile, but you can smell it a little bit while you're eating.
Yeah.
Do you want me to set them up, or do you want to?
I'll do it.
You do it?
I'll
Yeah,
do it.
You're here. Yeah, it'll take a few, and then you'll be warmed up and ready. Yeah.
Nope.
And if people are watching, it makes it even worse.
It's fine. The cheese is much it's firmer than I think it's going to be.
So what the bristles do is they create little micro scars on the surface of the rind, and then there's more surface area for the bacteria to nestle in there and start forming a healthy rind. I like how much care you put into it. You're like really caring for the cheese.
Well, of course I am. You're sweet little angels.
They are sweet little angels. Another way to release more brine, if you do put more pressure, it will bring out more brine. So if you're like...
Seems like I'm hurting them.
No, you're fine.
Sweet angels, I'm sorry.
Once they develop a rind, that's when we have to be a little bit more... Careful, yes. But right now, they're still young. We want to work them up. We want to create a nice home for bacteria to grow.
Come on, babies.
Grow.
Get funky.
You want to try some Matilda washed Willoughby?
Yes, please.
Our inspiration for these kind of special wash projects was born with the relationship we developed with Goose Island back in the olden days, going back to, 2005-ish. So.
Wow. With Greg Hall, right?
With Greg Hall, yep. I think Greg was like really at his prime in terms of figuring out how to engage with cheese. Greg really pioneered that. There isn't anybody in the beer world that I met anywhere else that was really looking at cheese the way that Greg was. It is a perfect pairing. Yeah. And Greg figured that out. We didn't figure that out, Greg figured that out.